So I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. In the year 2024, Gladiator Beast is actually a decent deck list.
Great Scott.
Yeah, I feel like a Back to the Future reference kind of made sense here, considering I feel like I literally just travelled through time every time I play this deck list. Now, don't get too excited, as like I said, it's a decent deck, not a top tier sort of meta contending deck list. It's more of the kind of deck where if you get the right matchup, specifically decks that just have mostly targeting and removal, you're going to have a good time. If you come across a deck like TG, which negates your contact fusion summon of your fusion monster, then you're going to have a bad time. But considering this is an archetype that's been in the game since 2016, yes, that was 8 years ago now, God, I feel old. And hasn't been considered a meta deck list since March of 2020, which is 4 years ago, I feel like decent is more than you could ask for, so let me show you what I've been cooking. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of you watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't even subscribed yet. So if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, want to see some more deck lists from me in the future, or more guides from me in the future, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. I still have a couple more videos planned around the latest box, things like your reptiles and a tier list video tomorrow talking about all the new deck lists and where they stack up in the meta, so if you're interested in any of that stuff, remember to like, remember to subscribe, and let's get into this deck list. Alright, so what exactly is new with Gladiator Beast? Well, honestly, not a whole lot. We basically got one new Link monster we actually care about, and a brand new skill, both of which are insane for the archetype and what take this deck list from being completely unplayable to fixing most of its problems and make it a fully functioning deck list. So we'll start with the skill first, Domain of the Gladiator Beasts. This skill is very simple, just reveal a Gladiator Beast monster in your hand, and then grab your spell card straight from your deck list and put it straight on the field. And if you don't know what this spell card does, it is what makes this deck list actually functional. What the spell does is during your main phase only, it makes all your Gladiator Beast monsters completely immune to targeting effects. So if you're up against a matchup where your opponent is all targeting and removal, you're just completely safe to it before going into your fusion summon. Like I said, it's only during the main phase, but that doesn't matter too much considering as long as you're just summoning out your fusion monster during the main phase, which of course you're going to be doing, your opponent's back row most of the time can't respond to this. Even a card like IDP, which is the most common non-target removal, doesn't really affect this deck list all that much, considering you're doing contact fusing, which means you're taking your monsters from the field, shuffling them straight into the deck list, then summoning out your fusion monster, which doesn't actually put a card in the graveyard, so you're pretty much immune to nearly all back row in the game that isn't droplet, which is definitely this deck's biggest upside. Additionally, this card also, when it's on the field, if you summon out a Gladiator Beast monster from the main deck, it can summon out another Gladiator Beast monster straight from the main deck, so that makes it very easy to go into your fusion summoning, and yeah, this card is what makes the archetype very playable. The other new addition to this deck list is of course going to be your Test Panther. Now keep in mind, Test Panther, not a Gladiator Beast. Very important to note as it's not going to be protected via your continuous spell, so if you're going to summon this, you're going to want to summon it going first, and you're not going to summon it going second until you've removed your opponent's stuff. Otherwise, if you expect this thing to actually stick to the field, you're going to be sadly mistaken, as any targeting effect can hit this thing and remove it instantly. It's mostly your turn 1 play, or something you use once you've removed your opponent's stuff already. That's the main uses for this card. Alright, if this thing is link summoned, you can add one Gladiator Beast card from your deck to your hand. Already an insane effect going first, as it allows you to search for either of your 2 trap cards, or even search for your Gladiator Beast comeback, which can set up certain fields. A very powerful effect that means this deck no longer relies on just a fusion monster to defend yourself. You can actually search for a proper back row without just praying to God you top deck into it. Alright, then we have the second effect. You can target a Gladiator Beast monster you control, shuffle that monster into the deck list, special summon out a Gladiator Beast monster with a different original name from your deck. This is treated as a special summon by a Gladiator Beast monster's effect. So another insane effect, considering just summoning monsters from your deck list will trigger their effects, whether that be your Darius to revive things back from the graveyard, your Bestiari to pop your opponent's back row, or your Murmillo to pop your opponent's front row. It's also like a pseudo-searcher to grab the fusion materials you need. For example, this card requires your Laquari, this card requires your Bestiari, and this card requires your big guy, your Vespasius, or I don't know how to pronounce that. I really butchered that one. But anyway, it's also acts as a pseudo-searcher, so a great way to trigger your effects and get the perfect materials on field for your various fusion summons. Last thing I want to mention with this deck list is of course going to be the elephant in the room. Why the hell is there a Fire King card in this deck list? Well, Onslaught the Fire Kings can essentially, if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, summon a Fire Beast Warrior monster straight from your deck list. Well, your Laquari over here is a Fire Beast Warrior monster. So the reason I'm playing this card is essentially because, 1, I don't own Fusion Deployment, and 2, even if I did, I still wouldn't want to play it, because this card locks you out of Link summoning for the rest of the turn, which feels awful in a deck list that is so reliant on Test Panther. Even on the going second plays, once it wipes your opponent's field, you're going to want to summon out this Test Panther anyway. You summon it basically every single game, whether you're going first or going second, and having Fusion Deployment just lock you out of it just feels awful. So this card essentially just solves that problem and just allows you to summon cards from the deck list without having to worry about whether or not you're going to be locking yourself out of Link monsters. And of course, summoning a card from the deck list is what triggers your rejection, which is why we're basically playing this combo at all. So that's why it's in here. It does look a little bit weird and is a little bit of a... can be a little bit of brick, considering if you open this card in your starting hand, this thing can only summon from the deck list, so just hope you don't open both these in your opening hand, because that feels really bad. It's also not that good going first, of course, because you can't use it going first. You require your opponent to have a monster on the field, but you also wouldn't use your Fusion Deployment going first anyway, considering locking yourself out of Test Panther and not going to either of your trap cards is pretty troll. So it's basically just a replacement for this card that, in my opinion, is just better anyway. So that's going to do it for the deck list portion. The rest of the deck list is all just your typical Gladiator Beast stuff you've probably seen before. So without further ado, let's go check out some gameplay. So with this version of the deck list, I think I had a fairly decent showing. I think I won 8 wins and only 2 losses, which is a fairly decent showing for a deck list that's 600 years old. But like I said earlier, it's basically all matchup dependent. I think I got pretty lucky with the matchups. I don't think the win rate would normally be this high. If you come across a lot of targeting stuff, you're going to have a good time. If you come across a lot of TG Halberd cannons that negate your contact fusion, you're going to have a very bad time. Even if you come across a matchup where your opponent's just playing a card like MST or Cosmic Cyclone, if they use that on your continuous spell, well, your field's now completely open to whatever your opponent wants to do to it. So it's probably not going to be the best deck in like a tournament, for example, but on ladder, as long as you're just queuing into the right matchups, you're going to have a good time. So yeah, that's basically my consensus on the deck list. Alright, let's get into it though. Alright, so I recorded these either early today or yesterday. I've actually forgotten already. So hopefully I remember them as I'm playing them. Or at least I'll get a bit of a reminder as they're on the screen. Alright, Shiranui. Alright, Shiranui about to lose to an 8-year-old deck list. Let's go. Alright, so revealing my card to grab my spell card. Rejection being face up, so I can use my die, summon the monster to the field. This triggers the rejection, summoning out a monster from the deck. Alright. By the way, if you're wondering why I didn't summon out the big monster here, the Vespasius, or however you pronounce that card, it's because my opponent has a crow in hand. He had an interaction there. I was like, oh, my opponent's going to crow me, so I didn't want to put it in the graveyard, which you normally would do, considering you can summon Darius to revive it, or you can use the comeback here to revive it. I just didn't want to put it in the graveyard because I don't want to get hit by that crow. Alright. Test Panther searching for the trap card. Rescue Rabbit going to be summoning the 2 monsters from the deck. And now we're going to summon it, because now we can actually go into our fusion summon by using the comeback. Putting a 3rd monster on the field, and then we can go into it. Normally you can set up this field with just a 2-card combo, you won't need the comeback, but because I know my opponent has Crow in hand, I wanted to completely play around it. Alright. This opponent's going to be Squire over here. We've got 2 lots of monster negate. I'm going to use my War Chariot, and keep in mind, by the way, War Chariot is a counter trap, so if your opponent has like a... it doesn't matter in this case. If my opponent had like a Lance or something in another matchup, this doesn't matter. It just completely ignores Lance. Your opponent can't chain the Lance in response to the counter trap. So a very, very strong card, actually. Opponent's going to swing in. He doesn't realize this thing can choose my opponent's attack target, so I can defend the Panther. Swapping out, grabbing the Darius, getting the revive. Triggering the rejection first, actually, to summon this to go into my fusion monster, and my opponent's already conceded. Alright, he didn't even use the crow, but I know he had one in hand. He had a reaction had an interaction the entire time, and yeah, I checked his deck list afterwards, so unlucky for him. Alright, up against Mr. Sherry again. Or Miss Sherry. 4-game win streak. Alright, what was this guy playing? 30 card deck, alright. This might be the zombie player actually, which I don't think was that good of a game, it was just an example game. Alright, Rejection, and once again we summon the unexpected die. Summoning out the Vespasius, or how you pronounce this card's name, whatever this card's name is, I'm not going to try and pronounce this anymore. Alright, Test Panther going to be shuffling out, summoning out the Darius reviving. And I completely forgot that this card can only target different types on the field. Which, unfortunately, if I just summon back the Andal with the Darius, I could then summon this with the come back and go on for the fusion monster. So, slight misplay there, but it's fine. We've got one negate, I guess. But I could have summoned the fusion monster here if I wasn't a complete moron. Alright, so up against Metaphys of all things. I'm going to negate this and hope he hasn't got another way to keep playing. He had another way to keep playing. Which means my field's about to go completely bye-bye. Alright, the Daedalus is going to be summoning using the Tyrant, and my field just disappeared. But that's fine, because now I can use my Onslaught of the Fire Kings, summoning my Laquari, summoning my other dude, gives me my Gyzarus, popping 2 cards on the field, normal summon, grab the comeback, hit him in the face, and he's has a veil. Of course he does. In that scenario, by the way, if we run the other Link monster, we could have summoned it, and our opponent couldn't respond with monster effects, but I don't think it's that relevant enough of an effect currently to warrant really running it, but you could if you wanted to. Yeah, that would be an example where using the other Link monster actually did something. Alright, moving on. So maybe in a format where people are actually playing things like Veil and your Kiteroids and Karibos or whatever else, then you might want to run it. Alright, 5-game win streak up against, I assume this is the zombie player? I know there was at least one zombie replay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is, okay. Not the greatest replay if I remember, but it was just another example replay of just me setting up the field. Alright, Rejection, then we're going to Rescue Rabbit, summoning 2 monsters. Summoning the 3rd, and once again going for our fusion. We could have gone for the Link monster there to then search for a trap card, but I feel like having access to at least a monster that's immune to targeting effects, my opponent just opens like double MST or something, or something absurd. At least we have some way to, yeah, deal with at least deal with something there, you know? It's good to spread out our removal sources, I guess. Alright. So opponent's going to use his Zombie Reborn, reviving this card. I'm going to negate that one before he can put anything in the graveyard. Also destroys it. Mizuki going to be reviving. Going to be using the Dragon Lord, and then he decided, I guess he wasn't able to beat the one fusion monster on the field. One more negate was just too much for him, I guess. I don't know. He decided that was enough anyway, so... Not the greatest there, but just wanted to show off, like, another end field, I guess. Alright. Yeah, I think if that guy played a bit better, he probably could have cracked that field. I think my negates were honestly pretty poor there. I probably should have negated at some other choke point or something, but whatever. Alright, so unfortunately we lost our win streak here, but up against a Sky Striker player now.
Duel.
Alright, he's opened his engage too, and we're going second. Alright, multi-roll, going to be putting... having the field spell on the field, going to be removing his own card to search the top 3. Of course, he hits the Ray because he's just too goddamn good at the game. Alright, swapping out the Ray, adding back that spell card, getting another draw. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't realize that Konami is really bad at coding their game. I'm pretty sure during the end phase, he tries to, he tries to do the Shizuku search, negate your own monster, use the multi-roll, but Konami's screwed up the coding here, so it doesn't properly work unless you use this. If you use the Sky Striker card whilst this thing's on the field, it doesn't work properly. You're gonna have to use this at the end of your turn, then do this little combo, just because Konami is really bad at coding, so... Or just not letting you select chain orders, I guess. Yeah, so he just loses his monster for free. He did misplay there, Konami was just dumb and can't code their game correctly. Alright. Unexpected die, gonna be summoning to the field. Rejection summoning out. These 3 are gonna become, gonna summon the Gyzarus, popping 2 cards on the field. triggering his Ray. These two become the Test Panther. Panther gonna be searching for the Revive. Revive into the field, which, by the way, this card triggers on Special Summon, not just on Fusion Summon, so you can Special Summon this thing from your graveyard, and you're gonna pop 2 cards again. Really cool effect, actually. Ray's gonna be swapping out, unfortunately, though. And I'm gonna swap it out once again, summoning out the Murmillo to pop another card. And these two are gonna become the Unicorn to get rid of the field spell, and we're hoping there, with just 1 card in hand, he won't be able to play the game. We're hoping. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case, because he hits Ray off the top. Because, I mean, at least it wasn't engaged, you know? Can't complain too much. Alright, there's the Shizuku. Still getting a search for the Afterburners during the end phase. Can't clear the Unicorn, though. So we're going to summon out the Rabbit. By the way, I had like 20 seconds left on the clock here, so if this turn looked a little bit funky, that's probably why. So Rejection summoning out. Not going to pop the field spell because I don't want him searching for another Ray. Test Panther. Honestly, I think I probably should just let him summon out another Ray. So I was going to pop 2 cards anyway. Yeah, I could have let him summon the Ray here since he wouldn't be able to swap it out because I'm targeting both monsters and the extra monster stone's filled up. I should have popped the field spell there. If I had the option. Actually, I didn't have the option because I summoned with this, not with the monster. Anyway, swinging in, he's going to summon out a Kaina to defend himself. Unfortunately, he targets this one for some reason. I don't know why you do that. Grabs a Widow Anchor. Pops my, doesn't pop my trap card for some reason. I guess he wanted to target the monster, I guess. Alright. Afterburners, popping the field, popping his own spell cards, and then special summon out this. Unfortunately, he has no Sky Striker monsters left in the extra, I'm pretty sure. He's used everything he owns. So, Unexpected Die, summoning to the field, normal summoning, and he's dead on field. Bit of a banger replay, that one. My opponent did misplay a few times, so... And I think I misplayed as well at some point there, so... But overall, at least it was a nice little back and forth. Very entertaining replay, at the least. Alright, final replay. And I think this was dicking a Shiranui? Oh no, it's a TG player. Alright, once again going first. I should have saved some more going second replays, actually. The deck isn't bad going second, it's just relying on your opponent having targeting effects. Alright, putting the spell card on the field. We're using our Unexpected Die, summoning from the deck. Rejection, summoning from the deck. These two becoming the Fusion Summon. Once again, could have gone for the Link monster there, but wouldn't have been able to set up the 2 monsters. I want to spread out my Disruption a little bit. If this guy played better, I'm pretty sure he could have wiped my field, by the way. TG should be really easily able to play through 2 Disruption, and I'm pretty sure this guy had a Droplet as well. Yeah. So, only playing through 1 Disruption should have been really easy. He played this so poorly. He should have just gone for like a Black Crow summon with the 2... Yeah, you guys have seen my TG video. You know what he should have done. Black Crows without normal summon, then gone for the other stuff. Alright, gonna be negating that. Get shit on. Passes it back over, and from there, draw top deck into my Rabbit, and he concedes. Alright, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you don't, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this deck list, like I said, I don't think it's the most insane deck list out there. It's just like there's a bit of fun nowadays. Has been drastically sort of improved considering how old the art type is. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.